static bleeds. We found a VHS tape in an abandoned house. What's on it will haunt you. We shouldn't have pressed play. The Milford house stood abandoned for 23 years after the family's disappearance, a case that briefly captivated local media before fading into small-town folklore. 3 family members vanished overnight. Dinner half-eaten on the table, car in the garage, doors locked from inside. The only significant evidence was a camcorder discovered in the master bedroom closet, its tape missing. Urban exploration videos and teenage dares had turned the property into a minor internet curiosity. But most trespassers sought only the thrill of creaking floorboards and graffiti-covered walls. None ventured into the crawl space beneath the north bedroom, the low, dirt-floored space where water damage had collapsed part of the subfloor. That's where we found the tape, unmarked, caked with soil as if deliberately buried. My restoration work on degraded media had begun as a niche YouTube hobby. I'd built a modest following recovering damaged VHS footage, mostly salvaging wedding videos and childhood memories for grateful clients. The technical challenge of extracting watchable content from physically compromised magnetic tape satisfied the problem solver in me. Marcus documented our explorations, hoping to create content more compelling than standard abandoned place videos. His camera followed me as I carefully extracted the mud-encrusted cassette from its shallow grave. "Think there's anything actually on it?" he asked, zooming in as I bagged the tape. "Probably water damaged beyond recovery," I said. "But that's kind of my specialty." The restoration process took 3 days. The tape had suffered environmental damage but was surprisingly intact beneath the soil, as if the earth had somehow preserved rather than degraded it. I cleaned the housing, transferred the tape to a donor cassette, and began the delicate process of digitizing the content, running it through my custom stabilization software. Marcus live-streamed my work to our small but dedicated audience, urban exploration enthusiasts and analog horror fans who enjoyed watching technological resurrections. 17 viewers watched as the first recognizable images emerged through television snow. The footage begins conventionally enough. Shaky handheld video of a birthday party. Date stamp, June 17th, 2000, 2 weeks before the family's disappearance. Thomas Milford, the father, films his wife Catherine arranging candles on a cake, while their teenage daughter Elaine stares at her phone, the boredom of adolescence evident in her posture. Standard domestic documentation, technically unremarkable except for occasional momentary glitches. Brief frames where the image seems to contain impossible geometry, quickly resolving back to normal. At time code 1423, something changes. Catherine looks directly into the camera and says, "Tommy, are you seeing this?" She points toward the sliding glass door leading to the backyard. The camera turns. Through the glass, their backyard at night, empty except for a patio set. "I don't see anything," Thomas says from behind the camera. The footage cuts, an edit in the original recording, to later that night. The timestamp reads 2:17 a.m. Thomas films from inside their bedroom, whispering narration. "It's out there again. Catherine says I'm imagining things, but I need to document this." He moves to the window. The backyard is dimly lit by security lighting, empty. But as he zooms in on the tree line at the property's edge, a visual anomaly appears. Not a figure exactly, but an absence where something should be visible. A human-shaped void that seems to absorb light rather than simply block it. Thomas whispers, "Do you see it now?" The shape remains motionless for 40 seconds of footage before the camera's autofocus hunts unsuccessfully. never quite resolving the darkness into any recognizable form. The next segment jumps to June 24th, daytime. Thomas films the living room where Catherine sits reading. Nothing unusual occurs except Catherine never turns a page during 7 minutes of footage. Not once. Her eyes move across the same page repeatedly. When Thomas calls her name, she looks up with a delay just slightly too long to seem natural. "Do you remember what you saw that night?" he asks. Catherine's expression changes, subtle but disturbing. "I didn't see anything, Tommy. You're the one who keeps seeing things." Her voice contains an almost imperceptible double tracking effect, as if two slightly misaligned audio recordings of the same words play simultaneously. The footage cuts again. June 29th, the day before their disappearance. Thomas films covertly from the hallway, capturing Elaine sitting at the kitchen table staring at the blank wall. Not at her phone, not at food, just staring with uncomfortable intensity at blank wallpaper. She remains motionless for over 4 minutes, before suddenly turning toward the camera as if sensing its presence. "Dad," she says, "I think someone's in the crawl space." The camera shakes as Thomas apparently lowers it, his voice anxious. "What do you mean?" "I keep hearing something moving under the floor, like something's being buried." The timestamp jumps forward several hours. Night footage, poorly lit. Thomas crawls through what's recognizable as the same crawl space where we found the tape. His breathing is the only audio as he illuminates the dirt floor with the camera's built-in light. The soil appears freshly disturbed in one area. Thomas mutters, "What the hell?" as he begins digging with one hand while holding the camera with the other. After removing several inches of dirt, he uncovers what appears to be a VHS tape, identical to the one we found. The picture distorts severely at this point, breaking into fragmented digital artifacts before stabilizing on a new scene. Final timestamp, June 30th, 2000, 3:41 a.m. Thomas films himself in a bathroom mirror. His eyes are bloodshot, face haggard. "If anyone finds this," he whispers, "it's inside the tape. It gets out through watching. Catherine and Elaine are different now. I don't think they're themselves anymore. Whatever was in the yard that night is now inside them, and it's inside the tape too." He turns away from the mirror, moving through the dark house. The camera light illuminates Catherine and Elaine sitting at the dining room table in the middle of the night, food half eaten before them. They don't acknowledge Thomas or the camera. "I buried the other tape," Thomas continues whispering, "but I think that's what it wanted. It wants to be found. It wants to be watched." He approaches his motionless family members. Neither reacts to his presence until he touches Catherine's shoulder. Both Catherine and Elaine turn simultaneously to face the camera. Their movements are perfectly synchronized despite being on opposite sides of the table. Their faces appear normal for 3 seconds before the image distorts, not with tape damage, but with what looks like a rendering error. Their features momentarily transform into undefined geometry before resolving again. "Who are you?" Thomas asks, voice trembling. Catherine smiles. Her teeth seem too numerous in her mouth as she speaks. "We've been trying to reach you about your reality's extended warranty." Elaine's laugh overlaps her mother's voice, both sounds containing the same digital doubling effect heard earlier. Catherine continues, "Put down the camera, Tommy. You don't need to record anymore. We're coming through just fine now." Thomas backs away. What have you done with my family?" "We haven't done anything to your family," Elaine responds, her voice suddenly adult and identical in timbre to Catherine's. "We're showing them what exists between frames, what lives in the static. They're showing us your world in exchange." The camera shakes violently as Thomas apparently runs. Heavy footsteps follow, too many footsteps for just two people. Thomas reaches what appears to be the bedroom with the crawl space entrance. As he moves the furniture concealing the access point, the footsteps stop outside the door. "They can't be buried, Tommy," Catherine's voice calls through the door. "They want to be seen. That's how they move between." Thomas drops into the crawl space with the camera. The footage shows him frantically digging in exactly the spot where we would find the tape 23 years later. "I'm burying both tapes," he gasps between breaths. "If you're watching this, I'm sorry. You've let it see you now, too." The bedroom door opens above him. The camera captures only a partial view, multiple legs entering the room. The walking pattern is wrong, as if the joints bend in extra places. Thomas pushes the camera into the freshly dug hole. The angle shows only dirt and darkness as he continues speaking. "It doesn't want us. It wants a way in. The camera, the tape, the television, it's all just a door." The footage captures sounds of splintering wood and Thomas screaming briefly before cutting to black. 3 seconds of darkness. Then, the most disturbing segment begins. The camera seemingly activates on its own inside the buried position. Despite being covered in dirt, the lens somehow captures footage, impossible footage, of our restoration lab, from angles that don't exist. Marcus live-streaming my work, comments scrolling as viewers watch. The timestamps indicate this footage was recorded 23 years before we found the tape. The final frame freezes on my face as I watch the recovered footage for the first time. My expression changes subtly, the same unnatural smile Catherine displayed. Text overlays the frozen image. "Thank you for pressing play." When the digitization finished, 17 viewers watched me discover what the Milfords had found. 17 people saw what came through the static. Their comments became increasingly erratic during the live stream, many describing visual artifacts in my studio feed that Marcus and I couldn't see. The live stream archive vanished from our channel hours later. No record of the transmission exists on any server. All 17 viewers have deleted their accounts. Marcus hasn't answered his phone since he left my studio. The last message I received from him simply read, "Do you see them too now? Standing just at the edge of your vision." I'm writing this because people should know what happened. The police won't believe that a 23-year-old disappearance connects to a VHS tape containing footage from the future. But I know what's real, and I know why the Milfords vanished. The entities that hide between frames have found another door, this time through digital conversion, through live streaming, through the screens you're watching right now. They're patient. They wait in the static between signals, in compression artifacts, in buffering pauses. And now they've seen you reading this. I'm sorry. I really shouldn't have pressed play.